forecast. We'll make sure you're not bored to death, but all your friends have disappeared, and you're the last one left. If you want to live, I suggest not doing drugs and having sex. Run through the forest grasping for breath, as you're chased by a maniac wearing a mask of flesh, tripping over dead friends. This isn't over until you get revenge. Final girls try to survive in a violent world. It's eye for an eye. Hide behind doors, lying underneath beds, trying to bide your time and find your strength, and figure out how much time it takes to escape before it's too late, or come face to face with a grim fate. Welcome to Class Horrorcast. Let's see how long you last as you torture to death. So come join your host Thir13en and Tomcat as we bring you a podcast that will leave you laughing in a body bag or a bloodbath. Welcome to Class Horrorcast. Let's see how long you last.
Indeed, welcome back to another episode of Class Horrorcast. I am one of your hosts, Aaron, and I am joined as always by my co-host, Thompson, aka the Reptilian. No, I missed one every time.
What? I was like, what ghost would I be? I'm the boy with the arrow through his head.
No, you're the one with the bib with all the fucking sick all over it.
Yeah.
You're him.
I don't even remember all their names. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody.
I know, yeah, I'll probably have to pull them up. Yeah, so we're continuing our, I guess, loose kind of dark castle series, if you want to call it that. If that's probably a pretty loose term. Before we get into this episode, actually,
how loose is it?
Well, not very loose, I hope. For people who are looking at the video aspect of this will probably serve you a little bit better. But also, I guess for audio, I could leave this in. There is new merch, which is now on TeePublic.
Get yours today.
The links will be in the description. I have some of the designs here. Old school wrestling fans will know what some of these are. I think when I was trying to put these together, I don't know why, I was like having some weird thing with ECW. I don't know if you remember that old school ECW stuff, and I literally just ripped off their designs. I was like, let me just put in my own name thing.
If we can ever get to it, we would love to do some wrestling stuff, because back in the day it was wild and very popular. That's so hilarious, because it does look like. So,
it's literally because it's like the ECF and a W, and I just have CH. I literally just ripped it straight off.
Which is hilarious. It looks pretty gnarly though.
Got the little.
I like that style. That's cool.
Simplistic one.
I love that one. I was actually debating on getting that one anyway, because it's on the Strange Brew merch site too, so people can pick it up too. But like,
and then also I decided to go a little bit mad, and I decided to rep it tonight. The tie-dye.
I actually think that looks pretty cool. I think it looks pretty gnarly.
I'm not really a tie-dye guy, but I was like, you know what? Let me just pick something just completely bizarre looking to wear on the show. Who cares? Also, there's some hats and stuff which also sport the ECW. I'm not big enough to get any copyright or anything, so it's like
even I would get a hat. Like I got lids to make up my own for Strange Brew Podcast.
I like that one,
but the thing is, like, I can't rep like a trucker hat. I think you can, because I think that you have to wear a hat at this point. Just kidding.
I do. Why do you think I wear one?
But like, like, I just can't rep a trucker hat. I just feel like I'd look weird. Like, who knows? It looks like great on you. It looks normal, but I don't know.
See, I like those straight bill hats, but then I feel like a lot of times, depending on the hat, if I put it on me, I'm like, wow, I look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, some wig.
It reminds me of like that thing, where like you'd see the kid and he either has like an umbrella on his hat or like the bill is turned up like this.
Yeah, I hate that, man. I hate that.
I'm like,
when they're like, it's like,
hey,
up here.
Yo.
What's up, bro? I'm from the 90s. I don't like that style. And even now, I used to have them like super flat brimmed, and I keep the sticker on and all that gay stuff. But now I do bend it, so it's like still, but I don't want to have it where I'm like this, like some sort of baseball guy.
Yeah.
I always think it funny because like I've had videos go viral talking about certain things, and then there would be people that just like make the dumbest comments. I always be like, look at this guy with his nose ring, or there'll be like, why are you wearing a baseball hat But and I'm like, I don't even like baseball. I just like the hat. You know, some guys like, you're Canadian, but you're wearing a New York hat or something like that winter hat that I love. That's in so many videos that went viral of the New York. And I'm
It's
like,
like,
I
why
just
does
like
any
the
like,
hat, bro.
yeah, why does anybody do anything though at that point? Like, you could critique absolutely
I
everything.
know. That's what people do.
Um,
People project their
and
own insecurities on other people. They're sad.
and this movie is something that um a lot of people critiqued. So, what if I told you that one of the most imaginative and downright terrifying horror films of the very early 2000s was a movie that critics hated and audiences completely ignored? We're going to follow the story of 13 Ghosts remake, a film that basically arrived dead on arrival at the box office. It clawed its way out of the grave to become a celebrated cult masterpiece. It was dismissed as schlock, another victim of the early 2000s horror remake craze. No style, no substance, and for a while, that's what everyone considered it to be. But then something strange happened. The very things that it got torn apart for, the over the top violence, the insane production design, and the seemingly nonsensical story, well, those became the pillars of its legacy. So, what did everybody miss? The answer is locked inside a spectacular glass house with groundbreaking practical effects and the intricate, terrifying lore of the Black Zodiac, which is a lot of probably what we're going to talk about in this episode. Um, can you
I
remember
was gonna ask you the
the
same thing.
first time you saw this movie? I'm assuming it was probably on tape or
Can
something
you
like
can
that,
you
or I don't know,
guess? Can
maybe
you
you got to.
guess? It was with my buddy.
It was with my buddy in a basement.
Literally, I actually remember this like clearly too, of watching this film with Austin. It's so funny because it's just like it was always me and him. We'd rent these movies. Like, I think his dad maybe rented it for us. And he's like, check this out or whatever. And was it his basement, or it might have been like he had a TV in his room, like one of those, like, old school TVs
Were you
people.
chained in his
I
basement?
know, really. Well, he was my best friend. We were always together, right? And he'd have pop and chip night. And like the movie, my parents wouldn't let me watch these movies, right? So I'd go to his
Mm.
house and his dad would be like, here's Resident Evil, terrible graphics of the dogs, and like they'd throw on movies that, that they would, even horror movies. But I'm pretty dang sure that I watched this with Austin, because even I just remember I was young when this come out, 2003 or something.
2001.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, maybe time I watched that video, I was 12-ish kind of thing. And I remember
Mhm.
I'll never forget, because I was fairly young, um, the titties. Like, I'm like,
Oh
they're
yeah,
cut up,
those were some parky
but
ones as well.
I'm like, but like as a young boy and not seeing this stuff, right? You're young and you're like, I like it, but I don't like it, you know? We would show an image if we could, but like it's just like I just remember that like kind of thing. Those movies, yeah, that you like kind of do not forget the awakening or whatever of being like, oh, titties, like that's how we were when we were kids. And I remember really enjoying it, not gonna lie, this whole movie, and I thought it was just like so up my alley at the time. Like, I was obviously obsessed with horror movies when I was fairly young, and then watching this one, just thought it was different. At the end, like there was just so many different characters, and then obviously I was obsessed with Scream. Like, I've told the story I think before, way back on the show, is that I had a whole box of VHSs. And then I was kind of going crazy when I was a kid. And my mom took away all my horror movies because she thought they were affecting me mentally. So I lost like what would have been probably like cool and valuable, as like a bunch of different VHS horror movies, like in their original case and all that stuff. And Scream was one of them. And I liked Matthew Lillard. So when he was in this, the beginnings kind of, we'll get into it, but his character also carried kind of the film, because he did play kind of like that Stu character. He's one of those actors where he plays the same sort of character. Like, if you think about, like, it's like a Jim Carrey or something like that, where even if you think about him in SLC Punk, one of my favorite movies, he kind of plays that same kind of character, right? That's kind of, yeah. I actually love him in this movie. He's so fucking good.
It's just everything about him, like his
I
expression, his
know.
like the way he behaves,
Come on the
kind of how
show.
he
I want to
delivers the
talk to him,
lines.
man. So bad. He seems
I
like the
know,
chillest
I
dude.
know.
But yeah, I remember
Yeah, he
singing.
seems like
Yeah,
a really good
yeah.
guy.
I like, especially when it was the Scooby Doo stuff, which Aaron really wants to get into. But like, it's just something I remember, and it was like cool and creepy, and like, I do actually remember being scared. Like I remember being like having, especially when the big Juggernaut guy, some of those scenes, I do remember kind of being young enough where I was like, oh, this is like creepy. So I actually, this is one of these movies that has is in my mind of like hanging out with your friend and being scared, and you're maybe too young to be watching it.
I was definitely afraid of this as well, and it was something I was a little bit shocked by. So I was watching some videos of it during the week on YouTube, like other YouTubers'
Yeah.
opinions and reviews and behind the scenes and things like that. And I don't know why, but I've started this new thing now when I'm like researching a movie or something. I'll read the comments on the videos.
Mhm.
And the amount of people, there's a video, it's actually a really cool watch. I want to say it's probably about 20 minutes long. And it's like a behind the scenes feature from the DVD where they talk to like the makeup artists and they talk to like the guy who designed the sets and the house and stuff like that. And I read the comments, and there's so many comments of people going like, I loved this movie growing up.
Mhm.
This was like one of the first movies I remember seeing on videotape that like scared the shit out of me as a kid. This is like a lost classic. I know it's not a perfect movie. It's not Oscar worthy or anything, but it was just like perfect for what they wanted it to be.
I absolutely love Friday the 13th Part 3 and 4. Those are not Oscar worthy. Any movie that's actually won an Oscar, I will not watch most times. Other than like maybe Reverend or some of those like, but really, like I'm not watching Schindler's List or some other shit like that. Like I'm watching movies that I enjoy some of the cheese, right? Um, and I'll never like these are one of these movies, especially as us as 90s kids, the 80s kids, 70s kids, whatever, they had like Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger, which we still had. Like I told you before, we've talked about this, is like this idea you kind of you start backwards in a lot of regards. Even with music, you listen to NWA, Easy E before you get into the underground stuff and the more newer hip hop, as we talked about on our hip hop episode that we did on my side. But it's the same thing with movies, right? You like we're like, oh, you hear about these movies, especially horror movies that are taboo, you're too young to watch, and then so you go back and you watch like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, but like movies like this when they were coming out, you actually saw the trailer, right? We're young and we're like, oh, we're not supposed to watch that. We can't go to the theaters to see that. So then you like get that VHS. And you're like, and we always talk about this, but that just feeling of like, I miss it of like just peeling off the Velcro is such like a nostalgic feeling that we'll never get back ever.
It's actually quite sickening, I'll be honest, that like that's a time now that's like lost. It really is though, dude.
I
Like
know.
that's something that will,
I know.
and like to look to a lot of people it probably seems like super trivial. It's like, what are you talking about?
But there's
But
too many streaming
that
services, man. Like you can just like there's so much stuff to I can't even keep up with everything. I'm watching the Osbournes because it's just like with the baby. I'm like, I'll
oh,
just throw on this.
the Osbournes, I've that's so weird, dude. I started rewatching that like 2 3 weeks ago.
Dude, and now we're watching the basement tapes. For all the fans of your show, we will be doing a conspiracy episode on my show, and it will be a little controversial, but it also gets into the occult aspects because I actually do like Ozzy, but I feel like Sharon was kind of pulling some puppet strings.
Uh, who would you say you were most scared of? Not sorry, I just completely before I forget
Yeah.
to ask this question, which ghost would you say you were most
Can we
afraid
bring them
of?
all up on stage? Do you have
I'm sure I can.
you got to be able to have like all 13. Even the one background, at the ending it's like our background on this where they're all standing over them.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, look at all of them, but right now, thinking about it, when it comes to like creepy and like scary, there's a couple of them, but that baby and that like little midget, or
Oh,
the little
that
mom
dude, the baby dude guy.
and the little mom, though, it makes it even weirder because it's a giant baby and then it's a little woman. You know what I mean? Can't say that word.
Just bear with me now. I'm trying to like pull it up here.
Yeah. And then there's a
Um,
couple of good ones like it, and like like the aesthetics of it, of like the makeup and stuff is pretty. Zoom that in. Weird. There's some that, because it's their sign. They're like whatever you call that. You can zoom it in. I've seen you do it before.
yeah, no, it's not working.
What the hell?
Weird.
Um. When I was a kid, I think the Jackal, um, messed me up a little bit. I felt she was one of the
That's yeah.
scary.
So
I
I
think
think
it's
that's
a guy,
the one
isn't it?
that
It's supposed to be a guy. I
everybody.
thought it was a girl though.
So did I. I always thought it was a girl, but I think it's actually a guy.
Yeah.
That's the one that everyone talks about as like the one that scared them
Yeah, the
the
Jackal
most.
definitely.
That's the thing with like the weird cage on its head.
Yeah, and I think me and Austin would laugh at it's so funny. I should tell him, be like, you know how often you're mentioned on like Glass Forecast. But like the baby makes me think creepy now, but at the time I feel like we're like stupid, goofy kids that make fun of everything. Like at some point we do a Patreon episode, I'll show you images of us and being young and dumb. And it's just like they're I just feel like we made fun of like they were like, look at this big baby, like probably said something stupid, right? But the Jekyll was something that was like definitely like a freaky. There we go. Yeah, there's some good. I feel like I don't like the chick that like hung herself. It's creepier now, even. Yeah, the Jekyll's probably the worst. Weird.
Yeah, so we have the angry princess,
Yeah.
the hammer,
Mm.
the pilgrimus.
I see there's probably somewhere out there, there's some on Pornhub with the hammer and the angry princess, right? That sounds like a good
Yeah,
porn name.
probably. The torn prince, the torso. That used to freak me out.
Oh
Actually.
yeah, just the walking torso thing is creepy.
Yeah, that used to freak me
But
out.
if
I
you if
remember
you're
because I
gonna
think he
fight
moves
any
kind
of
of
them,
weird.
I'll fight the torso.
Actually, weird as well. Yeah, the bound woman scared me
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Though I do remember being kind of freaked out by that face.
Some
being
were
like, "Whoa, what
shown
the hell?"
more than others throughout the film, right? Yeah, the Jackal's face is
Oh Christ!
yeah.
The Juggernaut,
Juggernaut, yeah. Juggernaut's
the
okay.
firstborn son,
Hmm. The
the
dire
dire
mother, yeah.
mother, the great child.
So
I actually interviewed that guy.
really, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Even the cancer, like the effects for like the cancer mother or whatever.
So how many ghosts are on that image right there? That's 12, right?
Yeah. So what's the oh no?
Yeah, and then he's the 13th ghost, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like, but I thought that the 13th
I thought
ghost
it
was
was
called
her.
the withered lover or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's 6. It's
6,
it's 13.
7, 8. What?
No, it is. Never mind. 6 and 6 is 12. Yeah, weird.
Weird.
What?
So
What? I'm so confused.
what's his name? The thing character, the guy. He played Monk. What's his name?
I don't know. Is it the guy that showed in the house? Oh, him.
Him.
He's the
He's supposed
ghost,
to be the.
but his wife's dead. I can't. At the end, I was like, "What is happening?"
But doesn't he have to like give himself up?
As the 13th ghost,
thing?
I guess.
I think
This is based on an original film, right? Like the castle. Is it any good? You said it was like,
it's
yeah.
so like I can't say I'm one of those like horror purists because a lot of those old timey movies I find really hard to sit through.
I would have liked it when I was younger. I didn't watch it, but like I watched like the original House on Haunted Hill with my grandfather and stuff like that. Like he liked those old films, Psycho, where he's like, you need the. He would always be like, you need the blood and guts. This is gore. He's like, it was a psychological thing, play with your mind. And I even liked when we watched. I was on mushrooms when we watched. What's that circus movie that Wes Craven redid?
Carnival of the Souls.
Yeah, yo, dude. I watched that original on mushrooms on outside on the projector. It
Ugh,
was
yikes.
it's a freaky kind of film, man. It's like in the
Yeah,
black and
yeah.
white on the barn was like creepy and yeah, like there is some of those movies that do hold up and I think are like, there are the stepping stones for a lot of horror films end up coming to be. Interesting, yeah. I forget that there's that twist. But remember at this time in the early 2000s, everything needed to have a twist. It's a twist.
Yeah, yeah. That like became a thing.
Yeah. Like everything.
I'm just gonna see here. Can I pull this up? So let's do this. Let's start
Okay.
and let's go through quickly on the different ghosts. I guess
does
I feel
look like a
this is something
Horus.
that people would do. So yeah, we have the Juggernaut, Horus Breaker. How would you say that
Mahoney.
surname? Right, you would say Mahoney,
Yeah.
and in Ireland we would say Mahoney.
That sounds stupid. It's Mahoney.
When I hear people saying Mahoney, I'm like, wow, that's retarded.
There's like, isn't there the guy from Police Academy? His name is like Mahoney or something. That's what I would say.
Okay, anyway, he was born very disfigured and was an outcast his entire life. His mother abandoned him and his dad put him into work in the junkyard. Using his unusual strength to crush cars, after his dad died, he went insane. He would take motorists and hitchhikers, tear them apart with his bare hands, and feed the remains to his dogs. After
Pretty
several of
strong
these
guy.
murders, he was arrested. A SWAT team shot and killed him when he broke free of his handcuffs. As a ghost, he remained at the junkyard with his body riddled with bullet holes, killing intruders.
This guy killed somebody with his bare hands.
I mean, he's a pretty freaky looking dude,
Yeah.
to be fair, and he's quite huge.
Do you think Andre the Giant could to kill a man with his? I guess. Well, I wouldn't say tear him apart. You know. You have to have the strength of like a monkey,
Mm-mm.
man. Gorillas can like even like I think orangutans, they'll tear off your arm and shit. The firstborn son, a ghost of a little bratty boy named Billy Michaels. Billy Michaels is that a singer? Who loved to pretend to be a cowboy. One day, another kid challenged Billy to a duel, but Billy Capgun was no match for the boy's real steel-tipped arrows that Billy's ghost still carries. Interesting. Wow. That's so crazy to be like, let's play cowboys and robbers, and then the kid shoots an arrow through his like back of his head.
Is the impression there supposed to be that he done it on purpose, or
Eh.
is that what we're supposed to believe, that it was done, or is it a mistake?
I think that was a mistake because he like challenged him right to a duel.
Okay, right, yeah,
The
yeah.
Capgun ain't
So
gonna
now
do
he's
shit.
yeah.
But
So now he's all
it's a
pissed off.
duel, but the arrow was coming through the front of his head, which means it seems
Yeah,
like
he got shot in the back
the
of the
kid
head.
was like
Yeah.
pop, pop, pop with his cap gun, turned around, and then
It was
oh,
like,
I'm not-
I will
I
show
almost
you,
did something really bad.
motherfucker.
I'm not gonna do that, but he should shot him in the back of the head. Not my show. I don't need to make those type of jokes.
No thanks.
Gotta keep your show alive. The Torn Prince.
So the Torn Prince, Royce Clayton, was a gifted,
Some
and
pretty
famous
good names, I
teenage-
gotta say.
Yeah, sound like they're like could be the characters. He was a teenage baseball player in the 1950s who caught the eye of colleges around the USA. Thanks to his challenger, a greaser who set him up, Royce died in an accident caused by cut brake lines. His remains are still buried at the baseball diamond, and his ghost carries his baseball bat.
I think that's a cool story for a ghost. That's cool. I like that. I actually dig that one. He's more of an innocent ghost, it seems like.
Yeah, some of them are quite
The
sympathetic.
Hammer, a family man and blacksmith, George Markley, whatever, was falsely accused of stealing by a higher up and threatened with exile from the old western town. Yeah, because he's black. That's the premise, I'm assuming. He refused to leave his family. He refused to leave, and his family was lynched. Seeking justice, George took his blacksmith hammer, killed those responsible, but the townsfolk chained him to a tree and drove railroad spikes into his body. His left hand was cut off, and his hammer was then attached to it. That's kind of a ripoff of Candyman,
I mean, I guess, but
isn't it? Okay, well, I think it is.
mm,
I want to cover that at some point too, but like I can farewell to flesh. I think I'm gonna have a hard time getting
I really don't know what's that one.
there.
Yes, I get this chick, the Angry Princess, Dana Newman.
Dana Newman
was a
would,
beautiful,
yeah,
but
she would have been good looking at with those cuts though.
a beautiful but abused lady who lived in the late 20th century. She had plastic surgeries to alter her perceived flaws, and after a botched experiment that mutilated her eye, she brutally killed herself in a bathtub at the clinic. Her ghost often carries blood, is naked, and carries the same knife she used to commit suicide.
How did she do it though? Because her body's cut up in so many ways. It almost seems like somebody else did this to her. Because why is she just like laying there like some emo kid and like cutting up just pieces of her body?
I'm assuming that's supposed to be the premises, like she slashed herself all over and just like bled out or whatever.
That's so fucked. After you do like 3, you'd be like, oh fuck, I fucked up. You know what I mean?
Do you know what I do kind of like, actually, when you think about the backstory for her character? I do kind of like the fact that
The
like
plastic surgery
you
thing.
know, because everyone always remembers like, oh, she had like those big boobies and all. And it's like, but it fits exactly
yeah.
with like the idea of like she was obsessed with like, oh, I look like shit. I need to look perfect.
Women
so-
don't do it. look
I'm gonna
so
have all these
bad. Chelsea's
surgeries.
watching 90 Day Fiance. I think we're like over whatever. It's just like the one chick. She looks like a fake Barbie thing. It just like you look like an alien. Like you're not from this planet. It's so crazy. The Jackal, born to a prostitute, just like Charles Manson, and in 1887, Ryan Kuhn developed a sick appetite for women, attacking and raping prostitutes. He voluntarily went to Boreham Institution for treatment, but the medical practices made him much worse, causing him to go completely insane after years of solitary confinement. Having his head locked in a cage after breaking out of a straitjacket, he developed a hatred for humanity. When the asylum burst into flames, he chose to stay behind and perish in the fire. His ghost carries his torn straitjacket and the torn cubic head cage. That's I actually like that because that's like, dude, they used to do wild stuff. Oh, we'll have to do an episode of mine at some point about that because like they used to do wild stuff to like mentally insane people. Like we could do a whole episode just about lobotomy and the stuff that they were doing.
Mm.
Like the Kennedy daughter got lobotomized and stuff.
Do you know what? I actually didn't realize how like kind of grim they made the backstories for these ghosts. I don't think I ever really. It's only dawning on me now. Like when I watched this as a kid, I was scared of
Yeah,
some of these and stuff. But like, I never really had any idea. I'm like, wow, these are actually quite
they
grim.
didn't get into any of the details, which I do enjoy, and it would have been so fun to write these.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Um, the withered lover, Jean
Sure, whatever
Criticos,
his name was.
was a happy and devoted wife and mother. She died as a result of fire injuries at St. Luke's Hospital half a year before the events of the film begin. Unlike most of the ghosts, she is not dangerous. She is benevolent.
But you think like some of the other ones would have been benevolent. Like what that guy do in the car crash? Oh, my favorite. Margaret
This
Shelburne
is you.
was a shy little lady standing 3 feet tall, so she technically was a little person. At the freak show where she lived, she was raped by the tall man and gave birth to Harold. When Harold was an adult, Margaret was kidnapped and killed by the other freaks one night. Harold took his revenge with an axe and killed almost everybody there. The circus owner then killed Harold. That's a cool story, dude.
It
I
is,
actually
yeah.
really dig that. That's fucking wild. She was kidnapped and killed by the other freaks. That's nuts.
They really didn't. They didn't like. They weren't behind the door with making it quite grim.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Like to be using like the R word so
Yeah.
loosely in a lot of the stories and like prostitutes and like just
Well, it
like
wasn't
mad
some
stuff. It's a
thing
bit.
that people like this stuff happens and people trying to be like it's a grooming gang or stuff like that. It's like that's you're just like you're taking away from the like severity of these things that did and do happen. Like that's crazy. Like how people now have to say unalived because YouTube will take down like the the aside word or like you know what I mean? Like it's just like so
I
dumb.
love. This. I just read over this here. I forgot about this one. The Bound Woman, which still when I look at it, it reminds me of when I was younger and how much her expression freaked me out. Um,
Yeah.
Susan LeGros was the richest girl in the town and was very popular. Her one flaw was the way she toyed with boys and men. During her senior prom night, she was killed by a jilted ex named Chet Walters, a star quarterback, after catching her cheating with another
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. Chet Walters. I knew a guy like that.
It does really sound like I'm like that sounds exactly like a jock
Yeah, yeah.
quarterback.
Chet Walters. Here comes Chet Walters down the field carrying the football. The Plimgrimissus?
Pi- the the
The
Pilgrimus was it?
Pilgrimus. Isabel Smith came to America as a colonist in order to find a new life. After being an orphan in England, the tight knit community ostracized and ignored her and used her as a scapegoat, being accused of witchcraft. That's cool. When crops and animals mysteriously died. She denied such accusations, but she was trapped in a burning barn but managed to escape unharmed. They sealed her fate, but she died of starvation after being condemned to pillory that she carried with her ghost. Her skin is badly damaged. Crazy. You know what's crazy? What I found out, like I was looking up today and doing more research. My family bloodline on my mom's side through my grandma, we were some of the first settlers to come to Canada and well America. Pretty crazy, dude.
That's a bit
I
wild.
know. After all,
Um,
like it's like 500 years almost.
I like this one as well. So this is the final one we're gonna like cover the backstory on.
Yeah.
The torso. Jimmy the Gambler Gambino was a gambler in the early 1900s who caught the attention of the mafia. After he lost a boxing bet and didn't have the money to pay up, the mafia cut him into pieces and wrapped him in cellophane, dumping the remains in the ocean. His ghost appears as the torso with a severed head nearby and is a more neutral spirit than actively hostile.
Yeah, well, like some of them don't seem to be hostile. Is he like carrying his head around? He has to like carry it, like and drag it.
Yeah, I don't know where his head like he like rolls it with his hands or something, or it like moves itself. But it's always like you can see it there at the front
Mhm.
of the image. It's always like around.
Weird.
I remember that used to freak me out though. The body.
Yeah,
I used
yeah.
to be like,
As
wow,
it
that's
crawls.
kind of unsettling.
We should do a watch along of this sometime for Patreon.
This is a quite a good movie in fairness.
Yeah, and just like the characters is what if you didn't have all these kind of characters, and just like the makeup effects, like they did a good job. I will say.
There's I don't know what the status of it is now, but I know in 2023
We're gonna
Dark
make a new
Castle
movie.
announced no, they announced that they're making a TV show and each episode was
Oh,
going
I
to be
heard about
focused
that.
on let me
Is Dark
see
Castle
if there's
still
any
doing
more
stuff?
about it. Yeah, they do, but not really horror that much. They do
Weird.
kind of a horror adjacent stuff. Yes, there is a potential 13 Ghost TV series in development. Several creators are pitching the idea to Sony Pictures Entertainment and Dark Castle, who own the rights to 2001 movie. The concept will be an anthology series with each episode focusing on a different ghost's backstory, similar to Tales from the Crypt.
That'd be
The
sweet.
creators are also exploring the idea of an accompanying app that would allow viewers to see additional ghosts that are not visible in the show.
That's cool.
Ah, similar to the idea of the glasses. So you would hold your phone up to the thing while the episode is on, and you would see other things on
That's
screen on your
cool.
phone.
I think that'd be pretty cool, actually.
That's the 2001 film titled 13 Ghosts was a remake of the 1960 William Castle film. The potential series would delve deeper into the lore of the ghosts, giving each their own episode and potentially expanding on the movie story. The creators are big fans of the original and are hoping to bring the concept to television.
Did he create the backstories of the ghost, or did they when they
No, I think
remade it?
they did. They did. Yeah. So supposedly they want to do like a 13-part
I want to look up.
series, and I think they were happy to just have it was just going to be like one season, like
Yeah,
a limited series. So they would have 13 episodes, but the episodes would probably be an hour to an hour and 20 minutes long each. So it's like a movie for each character.
I would like that a lot because this
So would I.
dude, they all of it sounds like all the characters, right? Like just the way that they're laid out would be kind of cool, right?
Wait, this is dude. This is hardly real. 13 Ghosts prequel to come to Paramount in 2025.
Dude, that'd be fucking sweet. I'd actually really like that.
13 Ghosts TV show coming to Paramount Plus within the next few months.
Weird. It's so funny.
Saw a bunch
Like,
of people sharing that.
I did say at the beginning of the film, right? Kind of cheese. There's some cheese layers to it, right? The glasses,
For
like there's so
sure.
much cheese in this. But I forgot, like I'm looking up the death counts. Um, it's like when those kills have presumably killed by the Juggernaut. Juggernaut killed in junkyard, killed in junkyard, killed in junkyard, beaten to death by the Juggernaut, found dead after in the scrapyard Juggernaut. Um, and then we have Jean. She died in the house fire. What's crazy though? Like what I did write down is like when he split in half, dude. I was like watching that again because it's been a while since I've seen this. It is one of those movies I do come back to, and I think I just purchased it. I want to start collecting. I finally couldn't find like Dogma anywhere, so like Kevin Smith. So because he's they're actually doing another Dogma. I heard. So I bought that on DVD. It takes a while to get here, but there's like nowhere you can find to watch on streaming things.
See, I don't like that. And I think you brought this up to me a while back where it was like, and a few other people have said this to me on different shows and things where they were like, what happens if they just decide to pull something from streaming altogether
I know.
and you can't watch it? Or say a version, because supposedly that happens a good bit now when companies buy the rights to a movie and put it on their platform,
Yeah.
they'll chop it up. So it's similar to like, remember years ago you would have a TV edit? So I
Yep.
remember watching some of the Halloween movies. I think it was Halloween
Yeah.
6 in specific The Curse of Michael Myers, whatever it was called.
People hate that movie. When we did the deep dive, we haven't even done a deep dive, have we? No.
No, nope.
Dude, I actually love that one. That one freaked me out when I was a kid.
Same.
The cult aspects of it is fucking.
My pitch for this Halloween, I want our big thing on the show this Halloween to do a full Halloween deep dive.
Dude, I've watched them so many times. I'd have to go. I would want to go back to everyone and watch them.
But yeah, similar to that, like sometimes I worry about that. I'm like, yeah, but couldn't they just give us like streaming edits of the movies
for
that
sure.
cut out? Like, it might cut out some of your favorite scenes. There might be, like you've said, and I don't want to get into it, but like content that they deem not like not good for Netflix or not good for whatever.
Dude, they rewrote the
some
1984 book. They edited the 1984 book because they don't want people to read it to be like, oh, this is kind of reflecting the world I live in now. Like, so like
it's just not good. Like, I just don't like that. So I think probably now more than ever, it's important for us to have things like DVDs and books.
I would love to. I'm gonna start doing that
things like
slowly if I can find them. Like, sure, Chelsea, like, do you need more stuff? But I'm like, 13 Ghosts. There's so many movies. My collection has grown quite a bit since I've started because I used to have tons. Now, like, I've lost them as I've said, like DVDs and stuff. But I'm starting to kind of build back stuff that I actually want to, and this would be one of them. And realistically, sometimes you can find them for super cheap. That I just want to say that panel, like when he like the doors come in, and like
oh yeah, and it says there's a really funny joke, dude. There's a really funny joke. Doesn't one of them say something like, "Did the lawyer split?"
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember.
I was like, so like early 2000s, like dumbass, like generic.
And like it's a cheesy film. I gotta admit, like the chick that comes back to like hunt the ghosts or whatever. But like cool, Jessica Biel's in this. Like that's who that. No, never mind. That's Elizabeth Shannon. Never mind.
Yeah, the isn't that the chick that was Nadia?
Yeah, yeah. She has some perky ones, but they're definitely fake.
I like this dude. Can't remember the actor's name right now off the top of my head. Something Abrahams, is it?
Yeah.
Oh god, people are probably screaming at the TV right now.
I always say the radio. Billy's like, who has radio IDMB?
What is that guy's name? Oh, someone shout it. Tell me what it is.
Shout it through psychic abilities in the future.
Yeah, let me know. F. Murray Abraham.
It's like as soon as you see that,
plays Cyrus.
There's so many funny pictures of.
I do also like that guy you were talking about who gets killed with the doors. The lawyer guy, Ben Moss. He's played by a guy named J.R. Bourne.
Yeah.
I do like him. He's quite good.
Yeah, he's a pretty good actor. Oh, he's in Teen. I don't want to ever watch Teen Wolf, but
wait a sec though. Why do I feel? No, he's not right. He didn't play Albert Wesker in. No, he didn't. Right?
Who's Albert Wesker?
One of the bad guys from Resident Evil.
Tony he's in a ton of stuff. You know what he's in that I think of?
He's Monk, dude. That's all I ever think of is when I see him.
Never watched whatever the fuck Monk was. Yeah, Mr. Monk case.
Yeah, but do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No, I have no clue.
You have no clue.
Isn't he in like Men in Black or some shit? Where is he from? Why do I see it?
Yeah, he's the guy who gets his head shot off. And
that's what I thought. And the weird eye. I swear, I was like,
is that him?
I hope so, because that's what I think about it. Yeah, Men in Black.
He's very ugly.
Yeah. Which I would love to do that as an offshoot. Oh yeah, I never watched Monk.
It was some really bad TV show.
I never watched it.
I vividly remember seeing. I've never like watched it properly.
Right, he's
Spy Kids. Remember seeing. Oh yeah, he is too, isn't he?
Galaxy Quest. Yeah, I remember that.
He's actually been in a lot of stuff, dude. He's a
I just remember him from the one thing I think of is Men in Black with his weird eye.
With the weird head.
Yeah, and this is like keeps growing back and shit. So weird.
What's his name again?
Sheeple. Shell Hold.
There we go.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Oh god, he's actually really good in that.
Yeah,
movie.
the weird eye. Yeah, that's what I said.
There, look what his head is growing back, and it's like blown up like a balloon.
It's so funny. And so like we've been waiting to do this, and I'd like to do it all three of us if we could, but it'll be like a long episode. But on Strange Brew, I have it written out for the Men in Black episode. I've been sitting on it for so long, but I want us to dress up like the Men in Black, and at the same time, what we need to do soon So this happens where we're like, okay, like we're talking about things and movies and stuff. I really want to do another off-brand soon. We're gonna do like Dennis the Menace and shit. Like, we should bring Billy on for that one.
Dude, I want to do Dennis the Menace so bad.
Okay, so I'll talk to Billy. I think we should make him come on that one.
I would love to do Dennis
Because
the
like,
Menace.
yeah, okay, let's back to the film. But like, there's some stuff like that that has to be covered. Um, there was a lot of cool things about this film. Like, there's not as many deaths, but the whole like intricacy of like keeping you on your toes. It's so funny because I never know what. Sometimes I need to give myself more context, right? Like, I said like the door kill is wild. I wrote up cut up boobies, and then I said over the top Lillard makes it work though. Even though I was like still like being like, oh, it's so like not necessary sometimes, but I'm like, it works within the film. And then I wrote down the bloody bathroom is fucked, which I don't know understand why, but like when I guess when she's sitting there and she's doing her makeup and then it keeps cutting to like the bloody bathroom of her like Shannon and Elizabeth like inside the bathroom. I think I just thought it was like creepy or weird. Sometimes I need more context because I'm just sitting there
Oh
being
yeah,
like,
you remember? Yeah, because in that scene, doesn't she? She's like doing her hair or something in the mirror, and obviously at this point they don't realize it's like near the start. I
yeah, yeah,
think,
yeah.
and like that
They've
chick
been
is like
slowly
behind
let
her.
out, which is cool too.
Yeah, and like the chick is like behind her, and she's like pulling her hair down
Yeah,
behind her.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I remember being like really freaked out by
Dude,
that when I was
the
younger,
stuff
being
that
like,
I've looked
wow,
into in
that's
my life,
grim.
right? Who knows if that's happening, right? Like how many like spirits within places that exist that we can't see, right? We've do you know what's crazy the other day? I haven't even said this on my show. Yeah, I haven't yet. Is so this is like I don't know, 2 weeks ago. Okay, we have like an egg light for the baby, right? And you hold it to turn it on up, like the brightness up or down. You have to hold it. So, um, Chelsea was upstairs. She was sleeping. I think it was on the weekend, so I was downstairs doing stuff for the show or writing music or whatever. And then she said that the egg light, she opened it, she was laying down, baby was starting to sleep, and then the egg light went full brightness, dude. Really weird, out of nowhere.
Ugh.
And then later on, we were cuddling, and I'm like having this weird like. If people don't understand, when you have like sleep paralysis or something along those lines, you feel like you're sinking into a bed. I kept having these weird fucking feelings. I was sinking into the bed and like, and then we heard a knock 5 times. It was 1:30 a.m. Dun 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 dun. And I looked at the window and it's dead silent outside. Like I didn't think there was kids playing Nicky Nicky Nine Door. It's 1:30 a.m. Who's playing? And it's the small town
Mhm.
playing Nicky Nicky Nine Door, right? We used to do it, but it was like 10:30 or something. Um, and then the next day, like which is so weird too. I swear um I left her without the soother in her mouth, and I came downstairs and it was in her mouth, and I was like, when she was like laying in a little, like I didn't want to, I've never wanted, like I'm not trying to give out my daughter's name and stuff, but this is like interesting. Like I was like, that knock freaked me out, and then I'm like, I'm the type of person that's like, okay, I'm going downstairs with like some weapon or something, but like, oh, like when you have those experiences, like the egg light thing and then the knock, it's too coincidental. And if I was Chelsea,
What would you do then if you looked out and you saw that?
yeah, I know the corpse
That's
body.
scooting towards you.
Someone did die in this house, so and
I remember you telling me that before. I'm like, I didn't want to say it, like, because obviously you've got your kid there and stuff now. But I'm like, well,
he was a good dude. He'd
maybe,
probably look
maybe.
after her, but I've heard also that like according to my woman's dad, there was a baby that died in this house too.
Oh,
Yeah. And also like I've told you, this house was picked up from somewhere else and brought here in like the like I don't know 18 1900. It's like just fucking, is that weird? They took
just
it from
kind of
somewhere else and
scary.
then gave.
What if it came from like haunted,
I know.
like cursed
I know.
ground?
Like, and it'd be so cool to have those glasses too. I would love to see in the alternate reality, like to if it could break the veil. If you had something that could break the veil, because people claim there's like apps that do it, and they're like, like people that there's actually apps that people think work, but then I'm like not negating or saying that it maybe doesn't, but people have used them and claim to like get things, but it's an app. They could definitely manipulate it. But I'm like, if there is spirits and they're able to get interference with inside of the app, but I'm like, I'm not saying that it's real, but I'm like, you know how crazy that'd be if they had made an app where you could like see ghosts or some shit.
Yeah, I've definitely seen stuff like that before, like apps and things
Well, I have the
claiming
ghost
to be able
box. I
to
gotta
like.
find it, but and it can scan through radio frequencies really fast. It was like shh, like Ghost Adventures uses it, and I
Mhm.
caught it saying my name twice in the same female voice. I'm like Thomas.
Did it do that? Did it do that thing? Because a lot of times, oh, that's even
Yeah,
freakier if it
twice.
said it the way you just said it.
Thomas. That's literally how it said it twice in the same female
Oh,
voice. I was like, say
because I
my
feel like
name.
every time I look at them things and like they have the ghost box, and it sounds like fucking ET from Universal
Yeah.
Florida, where it's like Thomas. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the
I was on
fuck
live
is that?
recently and I was like, man, this is a weird movie. But it like literally same female voice, like Thomas. And I was like joking, I was like,
Whoa,
and
that's
it's
I
just
don't know why that gave me
dude,
the
and I was
chills.
at my mom's house and like she was like joking. I was like, no, I heard it say my name. And she's like, say my name, say my I was like, don't know. Like this actually freaked me out.
Ugh,
Yeah, it's weird shit, dude.
just the way it says it is weird.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, like there's a like I really think
I don't
you know
like the way
I
the
think
mom looks. Why
now
does she have that weird eye?
goofy eye. Yeah, she looks. Yeah, she looks a bit too good. Is that supposed to be the point though? It's like making out that they're like probably not like.
They're freak show people, right?
Yeah, and she's probably a bit like.
I don't like his mohawk. So,
Is it a mohawk or is it just a little tuft
might be
at
a
the
little
front?
tough. Yeah, it's guys
Ugh,
say
that's
that's
even
a
more
baby.
weirder.
That's a big old baby.
This boy. I
It's
think
a
in
big
the
boy.
actual like if you read like the full backstory, it says he's 135
But
kilos.
how old is he supposed to be? That's supposed to be a baby, or he goes up to be just a child baby man,
Yeah, I think he's just like a big
man
child
bear
baby
baby.
weirdo. So what do you guys measure weight in pounds?
Yes, don't you do that?
No,
What you do kilos?
stone, stone and pounds or kilos.
What stone and pound? You what? You like put it like you gather a bunch of rocks and then you weigh it based on like the rock weight.
Ah, God, annoying.
It's
So
weird. No, it's weird. We use the what metric system or imperial?
297 pounds.
It's a big boy.
It's big, like, but I don't know why I was expecting it to be way more
That's
than
not
that.
that big. I'm like 215 or some shit. Like,
Like,
and I'm not like crazy overweight. I just feel like I'm kind of
unless he's
normal.
like, unless he's like 4 feet tall or something.
Yeah, that's weird. I
He's
know
not. He's
dudes that are
massive
like
though.
tall and they're like 280 and they're like they're not fat dudes. They're just like, stocky. Yeah.
Oh, it is a little tough to look because the
That's
rest of his
so
head is
weird.
bald. I could just buy a piece of wig and do that. Just stick that.
I know. I don't need to buy any more costumes. So there's so many I want to. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do for Halloween special, but I want me and Billy to be Jay and Silent Bob. Oh, that he's like, mm, that's a cool fucking photo though of them doing
That's
Steve back on
yeah.
set with Warner Brothers. That's cool.
That is kind of badass, right?
I dig that. That's cool.
Yeah, like if you were the director of that movie, how cool would it be to have that like framed
I know. That's actually really cool.
with all them standing around?
I know.
The fact that they built that house as well is wild to me.
Did they actually build it?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
Would you like to hear some special info from somebody who I
Do you have no
interviewed in
taglines?
oh, I do, yeah. But would you like to hear some of my secret interview that I done with
The baby boy.
someone who worked no, somebody who worked on it's a guy by the name of Dean Ellerston
Mhm.
who worked with like the prop and set designs and
Yeah.
stuff. So um let's see what are some of the questions that I asked him. He said he had a union card with really good resume with references. I was called in for an interview with their production designer Sean Hargreaves, and to my surprise, I got the job. I asked him the idea behind changing the glasses or something the audience wears to actual characters in the movie. What was the process for creating something to fit that mold? So, in the original,
Mhm.
what would happen is you would go into the movie theater and you would be given those like red and blue glasses.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't want to see the ghosts, you would look through the red side. And if you did want to see ghosts on screen, you would look through the blue.
That's cool. Didn't we
So
say
so
when
you
I
did
feel like we talked about this?
we did talk about this at one point. And obviously then when they remade it, they were like, right, we can't use that gimmick again. So how can we
That
keep
was still be
how can
cool.
how can we have a nod to William Castle's original idea and actually put it in the movie. So they're like, right, let's create some sort of idea or lore around glasses that can see ghosts for the characters in the movie. So he was like, knowing these glasses allowed the wearer to see ghosts meant they needed to, number one, fit every actor's face, number two, light up or animate to give the audience a visual to whatever the wearer's POV was going to see.
Mm-hmm.
Form and function were the two main justifications for designing and building this special prop. I said to him, the movie features incredible sets and props, most notably the house. What could you tell us about the process of creating something so elaborate? Sean and his team did an amazing job, and I was so impressed by their concepts. An interesting note, when our DOP, Gail Tattersall, arrived, he voiced his concerns about being able to light the sets in an all-glass house. Reflections ran to an infinity, which made it nearly impossible for a director of photography. The only solution was to light from the ceiling down and up through the floors, which had to be redesigned and replaced with glass. Gail also did an interesting thing that is worth mentioning as well. When filming scenes that involved our ghosts, Gail would turn the camera on and off, which slowed down or sped up the film as it ran through the camera. The effect was done in camera and not post-production.
Wow, that's really
So,
cool.
when you see the ghost and
yeah.
it looks weird,
Yeah.
he actually done that with the camera. It wasn't something they'd done afterwards.
Wow, that's actually pretty cool though. Like the thought that you have to put into this. That's why I give the kudos to some of these filmmakers that are able to like do this and have the intellect to create some of these imagery that you see. And like
He there's before we move on to our own thoughts, or whatever, there's a couple of other things he said that I thought were really cool. I asked him about the creation of the Zodiac book or whatever. He said, I have to say the best part of the job working on this movie was designing and building props. The Arcanum certainly had its challenges. For example, 2 scenic painters working for 2 days just to age the paper. We had a graphic artist. He created the pages and the drawings. I made 4 books in total. 2 were hero books. 1 was scripted to get cut in half. Finally, there was a soft version for stunts. Choosing the right paper meant working with our sound department, so we would make sure that the paper wasn't noisy.
That's hilarious because even when like I've like recorded when I write on a rhyme book or whatever, I'm like slowly like peeling like just so you can't hear it while I'm recording. Like that's a big thing actually.
I asked him then, I was like, do you have anything interesting about the filming of the movie? I know at the end of the movie the entire house is blown up. Absolutely fantastic idea. But I can't help but feel that it would be hard to watch all that hard work get destroyed in one shot. He said, multiple cameras, multiple rehearsals before the director Steve Beck called action. After the explosion, I watched as he carefully took off his headset and then replied, well, everybody, I guess that's a wrap. Without the usual handshakes or hugs, he just turned and walked off set. So they actually blew up
Wow.
that house at the end when it explodes.
Yeah.
They actually just destroyed the set. They were like, the only way for us to get this right without using a ton of like garbage CGI is to actually just blow it up. But if we blow it up and it goes wrong, now we have no set.
Yeah.
So we guess, because I was like, so what happened? And I was like, was there a backup plan? He was like, we only had 1 set, so there was no backup plan.
That's so
he said
crazy,
that he feels
bro.
that he said, I feel the film's success was because the story was original, well directed, well cast, and acted. I think the chemistry of the crew may have been a factor, with interesting sets, cinematography, costumes done by my wife.
That's cool.
Makeup effects, VFX, and props were also good.
Because you need like costume designers, the effects of the makeup within the like.
And I think, I'll be honest, I really think, and you've said this before as well, where sometimes when we love something like this or people start to love it over time, you can really feel when like maybe a crew or a team cash in on something versus when you can tell every single person from every single department loved what they were doing.
Well, look, even the way like I was like, we covered Darkness Falls, right? Yeah. There's so many things are like, did we do that? It's like almost like in the zeitgeist. It like the design of like I don't want to shout out too much, but the design of like the Darkness Falls character could have been better, but they chose the simpler, cheaper one. You know, and it's just like what made
Yeah.
this movie was the characters. Are you drinking a Heineken or is that like a fake one?
No, it's some moobs.
Oh, God.
Full moobs.
I hate that I like these things, but it's like a Coors Light seltzer. They are good.
Nerd.
I know. Well,
I can't say anything. Bill Gates.
I know. Yeah, he does own a stock in the company. That was our whole joke. But like, it is like I don't know. The characters like without these designs and even the practical effects, like we've talked about many times. I'm like, it's cool. Whatever we can do shit with AI or CGI or these things that, but like practical effects just it's just you
Yep.
can tell that love and care went into
Yep.
them. Especially when you look at
Yep.
stuff done by like I can't think of his name right now. Very famous guy that did Friday the 13th. Um
Tom
yeah,
Savini.
Tom Savini's work, like the crazy shit that that guy could do with like some fucking silicone and stuff is like nuts, man. And like I said, I
And
had that babysitter that also showed me like horror movies, her boyfriend or whatever, and he wanted to go into school for makeup design. At the time, it would have been a good idea because it's early 2000s, right? And it's just like that, like love for those movie, like being able to do stuff like this is like, oh, look at this set, dude.
it's wild, right? It's wild.
He's so
Like,
cool. And
and I do
filming that
think
to feel real. Like you see so many movies where like they're running around on a green screen. You know what I mean? They sure people that
so. This is the thing. I had this conversation with a filmmaker a while ago, and we got into a conversation around. I think no matter how good we make CG or AI or any of that stuff,
yeah.
ultimately, the human brain, the human eye can always tell. Like something's like, like you see people talk about like Avatar and stuff, and I don't even mean obviously the alien things themselves. You clearly know they're not real because it's not a real
Yeah,
creature,
yeah.
but like even say the landscapes, I feel like it's so overly texturized and like done in such a way that it's so real it feels fake. It's like that weird uncanny valley
Yeah.
where I'm like, I can clearly tell though that none of this stuff, like the newest Ghostbusters movie, there was like there's a scene where they're walking down the steps of like the is it like the
Yeah.
National Museum or something in New York,
Hmm.
and that the only thing that was there was the three steps that they walked down. The street wasn't there.
Yeah.
The taxi cabs weren't there. The museum behind them wasn't there. And if you compare that, somebody done like a side by side of like the original Ghostbusters from 1984
Hmm.
and the newest one from 2023 or 4 or whatever it was. And like, I can tell, even though obviously the 84 version is kind of grainy, a little bit low
Yeah.
quality, I can clearly tell that in the new one, you're not in New York. You're standing in front of a green
Yeah,
screen.
which is like it is funny because like I do like I think they're it's recycled. But I do like the Avatar movies based on the story of like
Hmm.
something that will always get me is like this triumph of people fighting against authoritarianism or whatever, right? But like it is like in human nature we're going to notice these things, and now AI is getting so um it's going to be we're not going to be able to tell what's reality and not reality, but I feel like there'll always be like I'm like, oh, you can make a podcast out of AI, sure, but you'll never get the real human emotion of the brain and people. Even if we are having a couple of drinks even on my show and kind of get buzzed, you'll never have that like raw um thought
Yeah,
process of the human
I know
brain, right?
exactly. And there's something I think that people can connect to on a different level
Because
of
we're all
like
human,
human
dude.
consciousness
Yeah, and the thing is,
where, and maybe we can't even explain what
yeah,
it is, but it's like when I have a conversation with you about something that we both like or dislike or whatever,
yeah,
it's a conversation that I don't think no matter how good AI or like any of those chatbots or anything get,
yeah.
they'll never be able to 100% replicate that
No, no,
interaction.
and then you have obviously people like using it as a form of, friendship or relationships, which is
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
crazy. We'll eventually cover some on my show, but like, and even this idea of like, like that I've had people message us and stuff for my show and how much they love it and appreciate it and like how it's unapologetic and stuff, and it's just like those people too that we reach even through this show and my show. That are listening to this or watching this, you're able to like kind of be with us in our thoughts
Hmm.
And even if you're lonely or there's something, I'm getting chills kind of from saying this, of like there's that even in the future, it could be decades from now, and if this is still able to be listened to, you're able to like look back at a different time and a different thought
Dude,
process of
that's giving
people.
me like,
Yeah, dude. Once you start thinking about that stuff, I'm getting weird
ugh.
chills of this like permanent thing that eventually may be taken over by a AI or totally different things, and these words can help people. Even if like I, my show is a very controversial in the way we do things, and my opinions on things are different than what the mainstream media is. But at the end of the day, like this is our home of what we are as a people, of like our love for these things, especially in the horror community. I don't care what you think or where you're from or what you identify as or whatever, as long as like you love horror and understand why it was brought to us in the first place, is understanding like this is our community and who we are. We like people bickering over this or that, it doesn't matter. We all enjoy this stuff, and we should be able to celebrate it. And without like honest thoughts about these movies and stuff, you feel connected to people through that, right? There'll be people that listen to this that maybe feel lonely or sad, and it's able for them to get out of their head of that depression or that sadness that we all go through. It's weird that I went sentimental, but like I mean
No,
that
but you're,
shit.
and yeah, and I like that because that's exactly how I've been thinking about it
Mhm.
over the last while.
Yeah,
I thought about it a lot. I was like, okay, why do I like some of the things I like?
yeah, yeah.
Why am I interested in
Why did
movies?
I
Why do I
spend
like
thousands of
music?
dollars on horror movies?
Yeah, like why do
Yeah,
I like music?
yeah.
Why do I like the music I like? Why do I want to know about like certain directors or certain artists or some like things? And then I started to think about it on a deeper level, and it was like there's a connection there that you make with certain things, and it's exactly that. It's
Mhm.
like I think back to times in life where maybe I felt lonely, or I felt like an outcast, or I
Yeah,
felt
me
like
too.
shit, or I felt like I was a bit lost and whatever. And it was a bit of like escapism, and I mean harmless escapism, not lock yourself in the basement and don't ever go outside again
Yes,
and
that's
just
bad.
listen to fucking shows. I don't mean that, but I mean there's a human level connection there that you can make with somebody, whether it's and I think we've gotten away from that a little bit because the internet has become that place where it's like, oh, let's all argue and fight.
Yeah,
So like
100%.
if I say like, well, I actually quite enjoy 13 Ghosts. I know it's not going to win awards, but I do like it. And someone else goes, oh my God, I can't believe you like that
Yeah.
garbage. And then we have to have a big like thing about it. It's like, well, we don't really have to get into a big, we could
Yeah.
just disagree, like, and just be like, okay, well, you like something else and I may not like it, but it's fine.
Well, that's like, and that's a problem, which we'll cover on my stuff at some point. It's like that we're like, I don't have to believe what you believe for us to get along at the end of the day, right? And yeah, the poster is what's something that's always stuck with me.
You know what, right? I don't think I've ever actually looked at it up
Me
close and
neither.
realized that that's actually all the ghosts
Yeah.
that are
It's very
in that.
cool. And like in like I just want to like say one last thing about it. It is like these experiences of sharing this, especially I will say us from the 90s that like understand 80s. Those people that understand like VHSs and DVD, this feeling you got. And it is escapism is good in some ways and other ways, right? Everyone needs a break from the modern world and stuff like that. Like the world is getting fucking crazy. Okay, Canada's gone nuts. The whole world's gone nuts, in my opinion. It's not fucking good. It's gonna hurt us all. It doesn't matter where you come from or who you are. But like these things of being able to detach, especially because my life's been so busy with like I'm trying to create music, my own. I have a new album coming out, working on my show, your show, all these things. My baby, my wife, trying to like make sure everything is like I'm able to still live my life. My workplace has been crazy busy, right? And to be able to disconnect and just put on a movie, which I haven't really been able to do in weeks now.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
it's a nice feeling. We watched Gothica not long ago, like which we'll get into probably next. Is like it was just nice to like, oh, I haven't seen this in a while. To kind of just to let go and breathe. Don't forget that
Yeah,
everybody
it
out there,
is. And
everyone's
like
going through the same shit, dude.
people say, oh, whatever, that time has passed. But I don't know if that's the case or not. It's like, when we become so inundated, and I've tried to get out of this habit now recently where like, you become so inundated with content or like choice
Hmm.
that I get this weird choice paralysis where I just won't kind of pick anything. So I've had to try and be like, okay, if I
Yeah,
get some time to watch a movie or something, I need to just pick something and just accept like I'll either enjoy this, I won't enjoy
That's
it.
hard to do,
You know,
dude. It's hard to do, man.
yeah,
And it is crazy because even this, like watching, I'm watching the Osbournes, right? As we said, like it's just harmless, like meaningless TV, but it's enjoyable because it takes you away from what your life's going through or whatever, right? And like this movie is something that's always stuck with me. It remind me of that nostalgic thing. And people are like, "Well, you'll never get that back." That's fine. It's in my memory though. I have that. When I
but you
die,
see, okay, so
it's
I'll
there.
I'll argue that fact. I would personally like to think that by us doing this show
Yeah.
and constantly chipping away, it's like, you know, the drop of water on the stone that eventually you wear through the other side.
Yeah.
That like by doing this, that you would be kind of carrying that
That
over
torch. Yeah.
into modern. Yeah, like, and not to try and sound like some sort of superhero or anything, but it's that thing of like, for people out there who may also feel like that or like the same things, that this could be just that little like glimmer of that lost time or
Yeah.
that lost feeling that would carry through, that maybe there's people out there like that listen to the show and go, it gives me that like weird nostalgic feeling
Yeah.
that
And
I
that's
used
what
to
we
feel when I
want,
picked
dude.
up a tape from Blockbuster.
Yeah, that's what we want. And me and you are both cemented in this 90s culture and very much shared it on the other side of the world, which is crazy. Like this I'm not gonna get into too much about this, but like I've posted videos about what Canada looked like in the 90s. Our country does not, in your country, uh the Western world doesn't look like it did 10, 20, 30 years ago. So to see those videos when I show them of like, look at this is Toronto in the 90s. It looks nothing like it does today. And that feeling that people get, that I get, of being like, wow, look at how much we lost, in my opinion, of what our countries have kind of became. And like this part of the Western world was this cinema, was these things that
Mm-hmm.
like have like
Yep.
captured our imagination, or able, and then reached other parts of the world, sure, but are us to be like, this is this, and as I said earlier, this is our home, right? Especially as a horror community, this is our home. And the more that we bicker and fight, no matter what subject it is, and horror or other things, this is something. If you love this movie and you watched it, it influenced you, it is like I like that we kind of got into the cinema because it makes me think of like,
Yeah, Sam.
this is why we do this stuff, right? This is why I really enjoy doing this. And my show can be serious and talk about some crazy thing and very dark conspiracy stuff. But like this show helps me able to like kind of disconnect, even escapism from my own show, which I really enjoy doing. And I love covering controversial stuff because this is kind of who I am, and saying controversial things that, most people don't maybe agree with, but it's because I believe in what I think and say, right? Of the freedom to have your own thoughts. And like Matthew Lillard at this point, right? Like Matthew Lillard, Shannon Elizabeth, these are like cultural icons of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
growing up in that 90s shit. Like, it's so like, man. So like Jason Biggs, you think of like American fucking American Pie. Like these are like things that like they're in us, right? Of what it is. It's Matthew Lillard, somebody like,
Like every time any of that stuff comes on with
who
any
is
of
that?
those
Why is that?
actors, or is that one of
Is that the little boy? Is that the
the ghosts? Yeah,
Whoa, that's
potentially.
that guy. That dude's pretty famous. Who is that? That guy looks so familiar.
Oh, that's Aaron Paul.
Whoa, what?
Whoa, he was in this?
No
Wait, who did
way.
he play?
That's where I'm so confused. I was like, that's Aaron Paul right there. What the fuck? That's cool.
Wait, now hold on.
IDMB.
Wait, have we just come across some sort of like
Like hidden gem.
revelation here?
What? That's crazy. What?
Wait a second now.
I have
Wait
to
a
look this
second.
up.
Wait a second. This doesn't make any sense to me.
13
How did I not
Ghosts.
know he was in this movie?
Why is he there? Aaron Paul.
Oh, maybe he was just at the premiere.
Oh, well, that's still cool. He attended the premiere. Wow, that's
All right, I was gonna
cool.
say, where
Aaron
the
Paul is
hell
not
is
in the
he?
movie 13 Ghosts. The movie features cast. Um, he attended the premiere in 2001. That's crazy because he was in acting pretty young, but that's just like, it is cool to see him be like, he like loved it. He was like cool. He's like, this is cool. Just different, dude.
Yeah, it's a completely different time, right?
I'm always gonna miss
Which
it.
is just kind of wild. Yeah, same. I don't know if I'll be ever able to let it go. And it's like, I feel like I'm like, is it that thing though that like I used to say to like older people? I'd be like, yeah, but you're trying to tell me like the 50s and 60s was the best. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's like, it's the 90s.
What I always say
But like,
is
will my kid
yeah.
be like, Oh well, 2014
No,
was so
no.
good.
What is like, and what I'm gonna teach and show my children and stuff is like that the world didn't look like it does now, and
There's
like
genes in me.
we watched I said this on my show. We watched the height of a civilization. Now we're watching the decline. People can say it's natural. People can say it's orchestrated, but we are watching it. The world was different. Sure, not in other countries, but at least in the Western world, it was something very different. And movies like this are permanently inside of our minds when it comes to like, especially the horror community. It was such a different time, dude. And like
Yeah, it really
realistically
was when
too,
you look
right?
at some of the
The
images.
90s and early 2000s, other than 9/11, and we should all know who did that. It's like those, other than those certain little of they never didn't affect us fully, but like really there was not really throughout the 80s, 90s, early 2000s much until like, yeah, there was problems in the world, yes, there was war, there was things that were happening, but like realistically in America, our like the Western world, our government sure could have been doing some crazy stuff, but that's their fault, not ours. But like there was no really huge problems. People had concerns, like they always do throughout every century, but it wasn't like it is today at all, where everything is, because of social media to an extent, is like everything's a problem everywhere at all times. You should feel fear, feel like all that stuff that they push constantly in algorithms, fear, hate, death, all the death, all that stuff is constantly trying to rewire our brains and stuff. And of what I remember, I had a good childhood. I had fun. I had good friends. I put myself through bad situations, which I'll always blame myself for, of my problems that I had growing up. But it is like, it's like we don't, that time people cannot if you're gonna grow, like if you're just born, you're 15 or something like that, you'll never understand what that was like for us. We were
Yeah,
born
yeah.
like the
It's a
the
completely
internet
different
didn't
time.
exist. It didn't really get popular until I was like 13, 14. Cell phones, I didn't have a first cell phone until I was like 15 or 16. So like that stuff, like it wasn't, and the cell phone I had was like the first cell phone I had, I think I was 15, and it was like, hey, it took me like literally 5 minutes to say hey. It would be like going through like each number. Okay, there's an H. There's the E. And that was such a cool thing because that's our MSN, which me and Billy had a very nostalgic thought on one of the episodes. It's like it took you forever, but it was so cool because you'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" And you'd be like, "NMU," and you'd be like, "You doing anything?" You know what I mean? It'd take you forever to do it, but like, you'd be like, "I'm coming over."
Do you know what's mad? I'm just like
Yeah.
flicking through like my notes and whatever here for this. Like this got obviously after House on Haunted Hill came out, it was like a huge success.
Which I did enjoy other than the ending.
Yeah, and they were like, I loved that movie, like, and they were like, oh, it's a great success and whatever. So I think they gave like a $42 million budget for this at the time. Like you're talking like 2000, like 1999,
Yeah.
which was a ton of movie, like money back then for a horror movie. Um, and like so it seemed like, I think, to Dark Castle everything was in their favor. Like they had a $42 million budget. The marketing was like using the look of the ghosts,
Yeah.
obviously, and then the fact that it was going to be pretty intense, like kind of bloody and gory and whatever. The film opened on Halloween weekend
That's
in
cool.
2001 as well, which was like, it seemed to them like this is a no brainer. Like
Mm.
this is just going to print money. Then it comes out and it just bombs,
Which
just
is
completely bombs.
weird, especially at the time.
It
Like there
made,
was dumb movies that made way more money.
I know, yeah, I don't know how it didn't really resonate, but like it made $15 million in its opening weekend, and then overall it scraped together 68 million worldwide.
And how much was it made
So
for?
42, right? So technically it made its money back, but
Weird.
supposedly once you factor in marketing costs, you're probably talking another 40 million.
I'm
So
actually really
it
surprised.
was, yeah, it was seen as like a complete flop. The company basically wrote it off as a financial dud. But then the real issue came from critic reviews. The reviews weren't just bad, they were brutal. Still sitting at a grim 19% on Rotten
I
Tomatoes,
think their
Tomatoes.
opinions are shit, just to be honest.
I know, yeah, but like I feel like it kind of holds weight in some degree, which I don't like. But the critical consensus called it distinctly lacking in scares. The legendary Roger Ebert gave it a scathing review, calling it the loudest movie since Armageddon, and saying Watching it was literally painful. He said the screenplay was dead on arrival and the whole thing was all craft and little art. Other critics piled on, ripping apart the frantic editing, the non-stop strobe effects, and a story that felt like an afterthought to the visual chaos. The characters felt thin. The dialogue was mostly just exposition dumps between loud, gory set pieces. The film was basically labeled the poster child for everything wrong with 2000s horror. Style over substance, noise over atmosphere, and gore over tension. For years, if you wanted an example of a bad horror movie, critics would point to 13 Ghosts,
Interesting. It's
which
interesting
is
because like
kind of
there's
mad.
parts that are like I'm like yeah, like I could agree with that. But the thing is, like I said before, like this is kind of what we got, and um, sometimes you're like could have been better. Sure, there could have been way better things about this movie, and um the way they attacked it, the way they went into it. But I'm like, I don't know, like in all of them, like it's horror movies. It's supposed to be,
This has
as you
happened
said,
though, yeah.
schlocky or what. It's supposed to be like,
But this has happened time and time again with movies like this, I think. And then you have that like perfect storm, I suppose, of like time, nostalgia, and then maybe the slow burn appreciation for
mm,
things. But like if you look at it now, there's a lot of people out there who would have discovered it on DVD or maybe on cable TV or something like that. And I think a lot of people like from looking on Reddit and comments and places like that, I had written down like some, I suppose, keywords that I seen mentioned a lot, which was wild creativity. Um, I saw a house that wasn't just a haunted house. I saw a haunted house that wasn't just a house, but a terrifying ticking machine.
yeah,
I saw monsters that weren't just spooky ghosts, but fully realized creatures with a weight and texture that is getting rarer as CGI takes over.
agreed.
And most importantly, I found a hidden mythology so detailed and tragic that it turned a throwaway monster into characters whose stories you desperately wanted to know, even in 2024.
Want to know more about too?
Um, yeah, like, and
Yeah,
I think the fact that they're even like working on a TV show now, what, like 20 something years
mhm.
later, is like, I think that kind of shows there's probably more
I
to
feel
it than
fucking
they
old when you say that.
gave it credit for.
It's like
I know,
20
yeah, it's
years.
a bit grim,
Oh
all right, isn't
fuck
it?
God.
It's a bit grim, all right. I don't know, like I do like if you get the DVD or whatever at some point, there's an extra on it that I really
I kind
like.
of
It's
want to do
called
that. I might
Ghost
put that in
Files.
my Amazon list.
Oh, dude, definitely get it. There's an extra on it called Ghost Files, and in it, the character of Cyrus,
Mhm.
he explains all the backstories for
Oh,
each
that's
spirit.
cool.
So like, there's like you kind of learn, and it's not just the little ones we read out now today, like
Mhm.
the 4 or 5 lines. I'm talking about like detailed, like
That's
kind
pretty
of
cool.
descriptions of their backstories,
So at 13
and I
Ghosts,
think
what are
that
you
was
giving
kind of
it?
lost.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh Christ, I'm gonna say like pretty high up, man. I'll be honest, because like I feel like this is really rewatchable and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to go. I'm probably gonna go like 8.
Out of
No,
13?
actually, out of third. No, yeah, sorry, out of 13.
I was gonna say 10 and a
Probably
half
10
to
or
11, dude.
yeah, probably 10 or 11. Yeah,
It is nostalgic. I remember when I watched it, it will always stay stuck in my mind. And like I said, I always liked what Anton would phrase it as, like way throwback to some of the episodes he was on Class Roadcast. Is like, there's movies that are like they're written well. There's this things done, but there's also those movies that we have to judge it based on how many times have I watched this? Would I watch it again? Right? Like I always reference like Hereditary. I've seen it one time and I was like, that's enough for me. I'll probably rewatch it at some point. But it's not one of those movies. It's a great movie, but not one you go back to because how fucked up it is, right? There's just like it's just so crazy. Um, what I wanted to do this summer was also that other movie, Midsommar, which we were talking about some
oh,
because it's so I haven't
Midsommar.
rewatched it since or whatever, right? Um,
Love it.
but um, I've seen this movie a bunch of times, and I've always enjoyed it, and it's goofy and fun, and I've probably watched this at least like I'm thinking at least 10 times, at least, right? And so
I've watched this way too many
yeah,
times.
I still enjoy it, and I'll give it a good review. I like part of these goofy, dumb, like, oh, it's fun is part of it, right? Is part of the love for these movies, right? I don't
But
need
there's
some
just so many
serious
little
like
things like,
acting like, oh, this is, like, I don't need that shit in entertainment, right?
and like I know we could probably talk all night about all the little intricacies and
Yeah.
whatever, but like just even little things like, I mean, the fact that they built the house like from the ground up on a soundstage, 45 tons of steel just for the frame.
That's crazy.
Bridge welders brought in to put the entire house together. 8,500 square feet of glass made up of constantly shifting walls. Latin inscriptions etched into every surface. Um, Etching miles of real glass was impossible, so the team brilliantly printed the text onto a plastic overlay that was then applied to the glass panels. Like, it's just, I don't
I
know,
would
like
like
the
to do a
attention to
watch along. I'm
detail
gonna
there.
push for that to do a watch along for Patreon
Yeah,
and start maybe
I'd
just
be
do it
quite
on
happy. You won't
Rumble
have to.
to start or whatever. But like, I support Rumble. We're able to do a little different things on there. So like, support that platform. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. I think we
Yeah,
covered it well. I think like I did like these are one of those movies, right? Much like House on Haunted Hill. These are the movies that came out when I was young that I remember. It wasn't like I feel like an old man. I'm saying, but like it wasn't something. It was different. It's just that this is nostalgic in the way that Friday the 13th was to my mom and stuff, where she saw the original one in theaters. Right? It's just like something that sticks in your brain.
yeah, it is, and I feel like I don't know. I just can't see it going away. I think it's always going to be.
Yeah,
It's one of those movies that's always just going to be there.
Matthew Lillard also.
I'm just looking up here before we go. I was just trying to check to see. Remember, we were having the conversation about the 13th Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Of like why because he sacrifices
yeah,
himself
or
and
who?
becomes the
Who?
13th.
Yeah, so I think 13 Ghosts. The Broken Heart.
Hmm.
The 13th and final ghost in the Black Zodiac. This ghost dies by leaping into the core of the machine out of an act of pure love. Cyrus chose his nephew Arthur to serve as the Broken Heart. So yeah, that's we were right then in what we said at the start of the episode
Interesting.
was that's what it was meant to be. Which I guess is kind of unique. Maybe the intention as well was to have you realize that there was only 12 ghosts and be like, wait, why? If it's called 13
Yeah, I
Ghosts, I don't
know.
get it. And then be like,
And there's the
oh
twist.
my
Oh my
God.
god, he is the
Oh
13th
my God.
ghost.
His fucking uncle set him up to jump in the machine. Oh my God. I wonder what he would he I wonder would he come back looking like his character from fucking Men in Black. He's all like he has like one eye and he's like, hey buddy.
His like head's popping up. It would
Ugh.
yeah, I know. I'm gonna push you to do a watch along. I'm also gonna push to
Yeah,
do
sure, I'd love to do that.
I'm gonna push to do an off topic. We haven't done one literally since fucking which what I actually really enjoy doing. Um, if you if you haven't,
This was fun
yeah,
though. I would like to hear. I would love on this one, especially seeing as so many people seem to agree with us on this and
mhm.
love this movie. To in the comments, whether it be on social media or on YouTube, underneath the video in the comments, please let us know your thoughts, or maybe your first time you saw the movie, or is there a part that sticks out for you, or a particular ghost that like freaked you out or whatever. I
Mhm.
feel like everyone's probably gonna have some form of story around this.
Yeah, I would like to hear that, and that's the best way to reach us is like to do those little things, right? Is leave a review, give us 5-star rating reviews. My wife is always telling me that it's like you guys are just repeating the same thing. It's just like just end it, like I know.
Buy all these
Buy
t-shirts.
some
Please
merch.
buy all these t-shirts. Get some t-shirts. They're so fun. They're so cool.
That's cool. I don't
Um,
know how you did the
but
front and back thing. I've tried to do that and it didn't let me.
it makes them more expensive. So, but
Oh,
they're
I
not that
see.
expensive either. I'll
No,
be
honestly,
honest.
think about this, okay? I use the same site, whatever. We don't make a lot of money off of it, but it's an ability for people to wear it. I bought 4 shirts because they have deals all the time. They had 35% off. Like think about it, $16 tees. I got 4 T-shirts for like $100. Think about it. You can go to like a store and T-shirts are like $30. So and get
Yep.
past a certain point, it's free shipping and stuff like that. So that's why I like TeePublic is there is deals all the time. There's sometimes like they do 20% off. There's like when you catch one, there's 35%. That's a big deal, and you're able to, like I said. And last time I got 3 shirts and a sweater, and it was like $120. So
So go check that out. Please rep the merch. If
yes,
you do pick up something, make sure to screenshot or wait till you get it, take a picture and send it
yeah,
to
of
us
you
on
wearing it,
social
we
media.
it means more than you think. All these little things, I don't think you understand means more than you think. The people that support my show, your show, like it. You know, we love you guys, and
And it's exactly that thing we were talking about. It's that sense of trying to build a community,
yeah, I
trying to
agree.
hold something that like maybe is kind of slipping away
Yes,
and
I
not
agree.
allowing it to. It doesn't have to go
No,
anywhere. We can continue to talk about this stuff. We can continue to enjoy it, even if these movies are 20, 30, 40
I
years
know.
old.
And
It
at some
doesn't have
point,
to
if we
go
get
away.
enough people on Patreon stuff like that, or working towards certain platforms, if we're able to do this stuff, is like having a community of people come in and talk with us as we're
Hmm.
doing these watch alongs and stuff. So
Yeah.
do it.
But yeah, we love everybody. Everybody love everybody, as Tom always
I
says.
used to say.
And yeah, well, you did say it in one of the episodes that people will have heard by this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
You went back to saying it again.
Yes.
And yeah, just keep an eye out on social media and stuff because there's going to be a continuation of this, I guess, series or whatever of Dark Castle and into other stuff as we come towards the fall. So yeah, peace.